Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities in Miniature, and it is time for that weekly painting progress, and I hope you like some mediocre paint jobs, because honestly that's how I'm feeling. And I know, I've said many times on this channel, that I am my own biggest critic, and it rings true. I don't know, I can see every little imperfection, unfortunately, and it just really irritates me. And my biggest fault as of late is going a little wild with various inks. And you can see here, I mean, it gets the job done, but then I feel like it's way too glossy. That's because I ran out of matte sealer. And naturally, the weather is absolutely against me today. It seems like every time that I sit down to paint and film one of these videos, it starts raining, which I guess is good for my yard and the environment, but it just kind of sucks because the moisture absolutely kills stuff, and I had to retouch up some of this because it got super kind of fogged over on these figures as well. And I realized I didn't paint his eyes, and he looks like he is some kind of Ju-on victim or something, like from the movie. Anyway, so these were some of the Bestiarum men-at-arms from their Lionheart Crusade, I believe it was called. And I did a video on them already, and I can't remember. But I had to get started painting on these, and I told you guys at the time, I could not make up my mind between red or blue, so I thought, well, what would the Empire do back in Warhammer Fantasy? And they would have obviously made them Altdorf troops, which, coincidentally, are red and blue. So I went, okay, let's roll with that, and so we did. And I did an absolute awful job of the cross swords there on his shield, and unfortunately, despite my blah paint job, and I'm hoping if I can matte these down and get them flatly sealed, that might help a little bit. You can't really see the details on his fingers. It looks like he's wearing flesh-colored gloves. That might need some fixing, but from a distance, I think they work pretty well. And I was just grabbing a little Frostgrave guy. Of course, he's got a Menoth symbol on his shield, but that's okay. They actually can work out pretty well, and I love this figure. It's probably one of the most normal figures that I think Bestiarium has released yet. And looking at everything I painted this week, it seems like it's almost all Bestiarium, which is not a bad thing either. So I did state I was going to go ahead and paint up a whole warband of these guys. I was looking at some of the old Arms and Armor or Colors of the Empire book, and it's supposed to be like the Crown, the Warhammer, and the Griffin, and it looks like ATB on it. It's Active Time Battle. He's playing Final Fantasy. Again, that gloss plus ink just made kind of a shady mess, and unfortunately, I'm now paying the price for it. The details are all pretty discernible. I do want to fix up his face. It's kind of ugly, and you can't really see his eyes. But again, from a distance, I think it works out okay. And I mean, how often, other than if you're sitting here filming this stuff like I am, are you really going to get that zoomed in on stuff to get that close a look? They can hang out the Witch Hunter here. And they're actually quite nicely scaled with the older Warhammer figures, if that's something that you have in mind. To accompany them, we've got one of the King's Guard. I believe that's what they were called. All armed with various spears and pikes. Again, continuing with that red and blue motif. Very simple, very basic. And very much in need of getting those supports smoothed out, but I need to get some new files. Half the time, even though I have them, I don't bother to use them. And to command the guard, we've got the guard captain. Again, very simple paint job. Very sloppy base work. I should have painted it before attaching him to it, but that's my fault. So I've got the rest of the guys that I already printed. I'd say at least halfway done at this point. So I'm looking forward to getting those done, and I do need to print up some longbows. And I mean, I've got a nice little thematic Frostgrave, Mordheim, 5 Leagues from the Borderlands, what have you, sword weirdos. Any kind of skirmish warband, I think these guys are pretty much going to be good to go. So I'm happy about that. While we were at it, we went ahead and did a terrible, terrible job on the Worm Host, I believe was the name of this thing. Another Bestiarium model. And he is obviously hosting lots of worm babies. And actually the slimy glossiness, I think, probably does him some favors. I'm not liking his hair. I need to go back and change it. It looks ugly. It looks weird. Of course, when you have a mouth full of worms, you tend to look kind of weird anyway, and you have big bulging eyes. He's got like these weird random crustacean armor pieces on him as well. Again, I know it's super zoomed in. I don't know. I might just leave him kind of slimy and glossy. Like I said, I kind of feel like it adds to the ambiance of him. I didn't know what to do with his tentacles, though. I feel like they shouldn't be that kind of gray. I did everything with a kind of pink, and then I kind of just dry brushed over his skin with a really weird gray. But obviously all the tentacles are still kind of pinky. I don't know what to do with them. On the one hand, being the worm host and all, and worm related, maybe they should be kind of pink. Make it kind of gross. Which he certainly is. Doesn't look like he's going to take very kindly to the Lion Crusade guys here. I swear I'm afraid I'm going to break that sword one of these days. It's just going to clip off or something. Oh, and because we painted her too, our Stampede Glaive from Kingdom Death. Now, I feel like I did a little bit better job on her than the other guys. I feel like I can have it zoomed in at almost a 4x. And other than some splotchiness on her face, which was just kind of hard to get in there. I mean, for the most part, it's okay. We need to fix some of the bangles on the antelope head on her shoulder there. But man, trying to paint behind her with that cape on was a challenge. Stupid fogging garbage. Dog hair stuck on it or something. Anyway, that's going to bug me, but it always amuses me just how large Kingdom Death figures can be. But then again, they're not that large when you look at like Conquest stuff. Everything is in relation to each other. It's okay to have bigger models every now and then. So, I gotta say, for what my schedule looked like this week, not bad. I don't know if I said it last time. I think because it happened last week also, just because of the kids' schedules, I think I made 6 round trips in one day to the high school. 6 round trips. That is absolute insanity. But, you know, just because my wife, unfortunately, was busy working that evening, and, yeah, it fell on my lucky shoulders. But, nevertheless, we got some stuff done. Hopefully, since I am going to officially be on spring break for this next week, even though I'm going to be spending my time, you know, running kids to the doctor's visits and doing taxes and taking care of car stuff and making all the necessary phone calls and doing all the things that I put off when I don't have time. And now that I do have time, I will be trying to get some stuff painted. And as always, if you guys want to show your stuff off, which I absolutely would love to see, it gets me motivated to paint, because sometimes, believe it or not, despite me chugging through all these models on a near weekly basis, even I get hit with just that inability and lack of willpower to pick up the paintbrush. So I need your guys' spirit bomb energy to quote what the kids are all into these days. If they're still into Dragon Ball, I guess. But yeah, anyway, put that hashtag weekly painting progress in your stuff. If you post on social media, I will be happy to take a look because I always check it, even if I don't post stuff as often as I should. But since I have a little bit of time now, maybe I can try to get around to it. And who knows, maybe I'll actually finish 1 or 2 figures this week if I don't end up sleeping in late every day. I hope. I really hope. Anyway, with that said then, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye.